Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. Today I'm talking about COVID-19 and how it's affecting the Australian transport industry. There's a few topics I want to talk about: deliveries, pickups, customer service, operations, delivery delays, air and express deliveries, and also international deliveries and how they're all affected. Before we get into that, I just wanted to briefly just discuss obviously the situation at hand. Obviously the community is struggling badly and the transport industry is no different. One of the things we all need to be aware of as providers and merchants and users of transport is the carriers are struggling. So we need to be patient with everything that's going on. There's a lot of change happening for them. So the more patience we show, the easier it's going to be for all of us. So just something I just wanted to make you aware of. Let's get into it. Delivery. So as you're probably aware, if you've received an e-commerce delivery recently, the drivers are using the 1.5 metre rule, or roughly 1.5 metres. So what they're doing is they're knocking on the front door. They're leaving the goods at the front door. They're waiting for someone to answer, and then they'll ask for that person's name and they'll sign as that person basically and enter their name. Now that deems the consignment delivered, so there's no repercussions after that. So just be aware that we may not, or carriers may not be able to prove the actual person's signature at delivery, because it will be the driver signing for the goods. Obviously they don't want to be handing over a pen and a PDA or a scanner for that person to sign, because they don't want to be touching it. And so that also, things like insurance, obviously that means that under insurance situations that delivery is deemed as delivered. So just be aware of that. Obviously if no one's home, what happens is the driver again knocks on the door, no one answers, they leave a attempted delivery card, and in the case of a postie, they'll deliver it back to the post office. And it's basically a situation as normal. So a redelivery occurs if that's what the receiver wants, or in the situation of collection points, pop stations, those sort of things. Receivers can pick up the goods from those locations as normal when they notify the carrier. Pickups, if you're working from home and yourself or someone in the house has COVID-19, what the carriers and we require is for you to notify us or notify the carrier if you're in an account with them, and do not make a booking during that period, that self-isolation period. So if that means up to 14 days, then so be it. Unfortunately, the main thing that we need to all be aware of is, and the vital thing is, we cannot allow for drivers to get sick, because what that means is if they go down or they go back to the depot, they pass on that virus to other people within the operation, and that transport company, that gets passed on. And unfortunately what that means is the ability for the transport industry to actually deliver is seriously impacted, and that means the economy will suffer. So we cannot, as Australian citizens, afford for that to occur. So we need to make sure that those drivers do not get sick, and the operations staff do not get sick, so they can all affect deliveries and make sure that essential and non-essential items continue to be delivered normally. Now, customer service, what's occurring with some of the carriers that we're talking to is many of their call centre staff are working from home now. So what that means is there's changes in processes. They quite often cannot access internal systems, or if they can, that process again is delayed. So just be aware of delays when you're querying, whereabouts of goods or what's happening with a delivery. There will be further delays, unfortunately. So we're seeing that when we're talking to the carriers. So again, just be patient. We'll get those answers as soon as we can. So just something to be aware of with customer service departments. Operations, what's happening within the transport companies is drivers, depot staff and office staff, the ones that are still there, they're all being tested daily for COVID-19 or any signs of the virus. If they're found to have it, they are obviously quarantined. Anyone they've spoken to is quarantined as well. The great news is, what we've heard so far is there aren't too many transport companies that have staff that have been infected, which is brilliant. And also another process they're doing is they're keeping the different different staff members separate from each other. So drivers are being kept separate from operations staff as much as possible, and operations staff are being kept separate from office staff, again, just to try and minimise the opportunity for that virus to be spread amongst the different departments within the business. Obviously, what this means is there is further communication delays, unfortunately. So again, that impacts customer service ability to get answers, and also internally within their businesses for them to be able to get answers and resolve issues quickly. Another thing with operations for local metro couriers, so they're the couriers that pick up within your metro area and deliver within the metro area, if you have any of those types of deliveries. Usually they run on 2 shuttles or 2 different runs throughout the day, so they may pick up in the morning from you, go back to a depot, the goods get sorted within the operations staff and the drivers, and then other drivers take those goods out and they're delivered in the afternoon. That's not occurring for a lot of those types of companies now. So what they're limiting to is 1 run or 1 shuttle per day. So if the goods are picked up in the morning, they're brought back to a depot, they're left there, the drivers leave, operations staff sort those goods into runs, and then other drivers come in again at another time, and they pick up those goods and deliver them. Unfortunately, what that means is that they're generally not delivered same day, that you should deliver the next day. So again, just be aware that any of those deliveries where you had same day deliveries before, they're most likely going to be delivered next business day now in the local metro area. That doesn't impact 1 hour, 2 hour and 4 hour services, those types of couriers like Allied Express or Direct Couriers, those types of companies, because those are obviously dedicated drivers that go and pick up from one location and physically drive the goods to the other location and deliver the goods. So those sort of services shouldn't be impacted too much. Delivery delays, what we're hearing from pretty much all the couriers now is they're telling us to expect at least 1 day delivery delay. So, if something normally takes 3 days, expect 4. That's for all services. So just be aware of that. Air express deliveries, so where goods need to be air freighted or next business day delivery on express services, those services are being impacted quite heavily at the moment because of the issues with Qantas and Virgin, particularly Virgin, that's pretty much shut down entirely nearly. As you know, there aren't many planes flying throughout Australia now, and what the freight companies, the express companies, that they utilise those planes in the cargo hold to move a lot of freight. So with less planes moving, obviously they have less chance to utilise those planes. So again, expect delays with express or next business day services around Australia. Also what we're hearing is that there are going to be surcharges being applied for express deliveries and also international deliveries in the very near future, if not already, mainly because those carriers are experiencing quite high cost increases to deliver those services. So it's impacting them quite badly, so they do need to introduce surcharges for a lot of those services. So either speak to your carrier or your provider and ask whether that's applying now, and just get that clarified. What we'd recommend with delivery delays and surcharge increases is just to notify your customers on your website or your e-commerce platform that there are those delays and potentially increases in pricing for express deliveries, just so they're aware and again their expectations are in line with what can be provided. Also with express and air deliveries, the carriers do not offer guarantees at this time until the COVID-19 has passed. So just be aware of that as well, that there are no credits or offers for refunds on services that normally are guaranteed. So just be aware of that. Finally, international deliveries. What we're hearing from our providers is that there are serious bottlenecks in Singapore. Singapore is the main hub for deliveries out of Australia, in and out of Australia into China and the Asian countries and other parts of the world as well. So with, again, less planes moving globally, there's less chance for freight to be moved in those planes. So there's bottlenecks in Singapore where goods are sitting waiting for movement on the next available flights that have capacity. So just be aware of that. And that potentially can impact your business, and just to notify your customers that is occurring as well. That's pretty much it for the time being. If we come up with any further news, at the moment, just to clarify, I'm recording this video when it's level 2 restrictions in Australia for COVID-19. If that increases to level 3 or 4, obviously there could be further changes within the industry, and I'll look to update you as soon as I can. So just keep an eye on our blog. Thank you.